Hello everybody and welcome to day 2 of algebra. Hopefully you guys had a little bit of fun just learning about what is algebra, how does it compare to the other math classes you've taken before, and some of the new things you'll be learning in the subject. So today's objective is to be able to simplify and evaluate expressions using exponents. Our agenda is pretty much the same as what we had yesterday. You want to make sure you look through the slides before completing anything, just because sometimes I'll add some important information in the slides that might not be in the assignment in Google Classroom. You want to make sure you answer the questions that go along this Edpuzzle video, and that you are signing in with your email, with your school email, because if you don't, then it won't show me if you've completed it or not, and then you kind of have to do double the work if you want a complete grade. And then always make sure to go back into your slides or the Google Classroom assignment and complete your exit ticket. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the mini lesson. So what is an exponent? Well, an exponent is a number that says how many times to use that number in multiplication. And the base of an exponent is a number that's being repeatedly multiplied. So in this case, we have 3 to the second power, or 3 to the power of 2, and that's the way we pronounce it. Your base, in this case 3, to the power of your exponent, in this case 2. And the base is usually the number that's written bigger, not the one that has the bigger value, but the one that's written bigger, and your exponent is usually the one that's written smaller, like we have over here, right? 3 to the second power. So 3 to the second power is telling me take your base of 3 and use it 2 times in multiplication. So that means I'm going to have 3 times 3, which gives us a value of 9. Okay, so another example, if I had for example 3 and then a little 5 up here, that tells me this is 3 to the 5th power, or 3 to the power of 5, and it's telling me take 3 and multiply it 5 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we can use our calculator to figure out, well, what's the value of this. Now there are some special cases when we're talking about exponents. The first one is that anything to the power of 0 or anything to the 0 power will always be equal to 1. So if I had, for example, 2 to the 0 power, that's always going to give me 1. Or if I had 15 to the 0 power, even though that's a big, huge number, that's still always going to equal 1. So it doesn't matter what base we have, whether it's a small base like 2, a bigger base like 15, a much bigger one like 1,000, maybe to the 0 power. Anything that has an exponent of 0 will always give you a value of 1. The other special case is that any number to the power of 1, so in this case the exponent, it's 1, will always give me that same number back. So if I have 3 to the first power, for example, remember your exponent is telling you how many times you're going to use the 3 in multiplication. Well, if I'm only using the 3 one time, well, I'm only going to write 1 3, which is equal to, in fact, well, 3. So if I had, for example, 10 to the first power, that's also going to give you 10. Okay, anything that you raise to the first power with an exponent of 1 will always give you that same exact thing back. So here I want you to try your own example. The first one says, in the example 7 to the 3rd power, what is the base and what is the exponent? So here I want you to identify the base and the exponent. So pause this video and take a minute to do that. So let's see if you got the same thing as me. Well, if I look at 7 to the 3, I see that 7 is the number that's written bigger, so my base is 7. And 3 is a little number on the top, so 3 is my exponent. So that's pretty easy to do, but now I want you to actually tell me what this means. What does 7 to the 3rd power actually means? What is the value of this expression when you expand it out? Meaning, how many times are you multiplying a number, and which number are you actually multiplying? So pause this video again and go ahead and answer that on your own. So when you expand this out, you see that you have a base of 7, so that's a number that's being used in multiplication, and my exponent of 3, so that means that I'm going to multiply 7 3 times, or I'm going to use 7 3 times in multiplication, which then gives me a total value of 343. Now the next question is, what is 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 rewritten using a base and an exponent? So take a minute to try that on your own first. Great. So if I rewrite 4 to the fifth, 4, I just said the answer, but if I rewrite this using a base and an exponent, well, 4 is the number that I'm multiplying over and over again, so 4 is my base, so that's the number that I'm going to write down first. And if I count how many times I'm multiplying 4, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 4 to the 5th power. Okay, so on your task, you're going to be asked to do questions very similar to this, and along with some other questions that are going to help make you just think a little bit further than this. But if I ask you to expand something out, then this is what it should look like. You just take your base and your exponent and show me which number is being repeatedly multiplied and how many times. Or if I ask you to simplify an expression using a base of an exponent, it's just telling you to rewrite it this way, meaning based on the number that's being multiplied and based on how many times, rewrite it using your base and your exponent. Now, before you leave today, make sure that you have downloaded the Graphing Calculator x84 app on either a phone, tablet, iPad, Android phone, or iPhone, just because you will need it for Thursday's synchronous lesson. I still have trouble pronouncing that word. Yeah, make sure you have that app downloaded for Thursday, because we will be using it in class. And if you have any questions, don't forget to contact us in any of the ways that we shared during orientation. Good luck.